The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, everyone. This is Matt Tour. I'll be dealing with today's webinar. Thanks for joining us today. And we'll have Dave Pemper joining us here in a short time period. We'll be going over some really good ideas Dave has going towards the 401k and IRA rollover markets. I know Dave's been working in that side of the business for a number of years. He's got some great information he'll be providing on those sides of the market. So if you do have interest in getting involved in the 401k market and IRA rollover market, Dave's got some great stuff he'll be discussing with you on that end. I know we do continue to offer our programs through IAMS. We have a referred producer program, a great way for you to earn some additional cash incentives based on referring agents to us. I know you get a $50 bonus when the agent gets licensed. You also will receive a override based on their production. You get a 20 basis point override. So if you have a $1 million producer, that'd be $2,000 of additional income for you. If you have $5 million producers, that would be $10,000 additional to you. So a great way to build up some additional income on your end. We also have our marketing reimbursement. We reimburse $100. Will go in your account for every $100,000 of annuity premium you do. So a great way to build up a nice cash account to use for marketing. I know we have a lot of agents that utilize that side of the incentive. You can create some great dollars for advertising. Maybe you want to do some seminars. Maybe you want to do some mailings, telemarketing, social media advertising. You can really get those dollars to go a long ways for you based on your advertising needs. We've got a great new producer program, three different levels you can qualify for. You've got a $100,000 level, a $300,000 level, and a $500,000 level. Qualify for cash incentives. We have iPads. We have website development. Couple different seminar systems, including one with Dave Pemper himself. We also have a Ritz-Carlton weekend getaway travel package. I mean, some really nice programs we have available to you based on your production. So a great way to build up some additional benefits for you. We've also got a great team here in the office that helps with your back office needs. We've got a great new business team. They help with processing your business, getting it sent on to the home office, and making sure it goes through properly. A great status team here, which helps the day-to-day new business routine, and that way you can concentrate on writing new business as opposed to following up on business that's already been written. We take care of that side of it for you. We've got a great case design team here. We've got a great marketing team. You can get quotes from us. You can bounce ideas off of us. I mean, we get some really good information we can go over for you with that. We've got, of course, all the forms you need for writing business. It's all available on our website. We also have a commission department that helps with your commission situations based on dealing with some of the home offices. Just depends on what you're writing, of course. We've also got a great coach with Dave Pemper. He does a great job on that end, coaching you on sales ideas, helping you.
Good morning, Matt.
Morning, sir. Helping you reach higher levels of production based on, taking the classes through Dave. He does a great job on helping out with that. We also have our paperless contracting. You can go ahead and get signed up with a number of companies based on one set of contracts. We've got a great creative department. They help you with creating different items for your business. Maybe you want to redo your company logo. Maybe you want to redo your business card. Great website development here. We also have different advertising schemes based on newsletters, postcards, internet advertising, a lot of different things you can take advantage of based on that end of it. So really some good information that can help you out with on the advertising side. Got some great social media advertising also, so maybe you want to take advantage of the social media outlets to get your name out there in the field and really help with your advertising needs on that end. So some great options on that side. As I mentioned, we have our own website here at IAMS. You can get on and download supplies. You can do quotes on the line. You can do term quotes. You can do long-term care quotes. You can take a look at the latest annuity rates. Everything is right there for you at your fingertips. So really a good place to go to get up-to-date information. You can also get different industry links. Maybe you want to go on and take a look at the IAMS Best report on a specific carrier. Maybe go on and look up some tax information. I mean, really some good information you can take care of on that end of it. So definitely keep that handy based on that website. So www.iamsinc.com. That website's available every day of the week, 24 hours a day. We also have a great software program you can utilize. It's a Retirement Analyzer. I know Marcus Solar in our office is the expert on this. You can go on and plug in your client's information and print out some really solid reports. Maybe you want to take a look at, where your client needs to be in 10 years, 15 years, 20 years down the line, and figure out how much money you got to start putting away now to meet those goals. You can also plug in different activities that may come up. Maybe you have a situation where a husband passes away prematurely, or maybe you have a nursing home stay or extended stay in a hospital. I mean, you can really plug in some nice variables there. It's going to kick out some additional details on the additional needs based on those items of interest. So really some good information that you can plug in on that Retirement Analyzer. So if that's something you have some interest in looking at, definitely take a look at talking to Marcus on that end. We also have just launched our wealth management side of the business. I know that was launched about a year ago, and I know we've brought on a number of high quality managers on that side, and we've got some great things happening on the wealth management end of the system here. We've got some great opportunities on helping you out with getting your Series 65 passed. You've got a great lineup of investment options for clients on that side. That's something you have interest in pursuing. I just launched a poll. Go ahead and mark yes. You would like to get some additional information on the wealth management side of our business. I know we have a lot of different platforms that clients can choose from for investment needs, being a very conservative individual, all the way up to being more of a risk taker. So a lot of different platforms that you can choose from for your clients on the investment end. I know that we have got some great individuals working in that department. They can help you out with, all the needs on the security side. I know there's a lot of paperwork that has to be completed and sent in, so they will help you out with all that information. So if you do have interest in getting hooked up with the wealth management team, I know you can talk to Joan. She's our administrative individual on that end. You can talk to Charles Jr., very knowledgeable on the security side. And we also have Mike on that end. So Dr. Mike Hansen, he's a great outlet for information on that wealth management team. But once again, if you would like to get some additional information on the wealth management side of our business, just check off yes, and we'll be glad to have one of them contact you to go over some further details on that side of it. So that's something you have interest in, definitely put a yes on the vote right now. Otherwise, I'll go ahead and move forward here. We also do our life and annuity academies. I know we have usually do these about once a quarter. We will probably have one coming up sometime in September. Really a good way to spend a couple days picking up some great sales ideas, information from different carriers. I know we bring in a lot of different speakers. Typically, Dave Pimper speaks during the meeting itself, give you some great sales information. We bring in some of our other top producers. They go over some of the ideas they use in the field to get in front of more clients, close more cases, utilize what's available to them through IAMS. We've got some great index strategies we'll be discussing at the meeting. We go over some life insurance information on large case analysis, maybe single premium life. We go over some different sales tools, software tools we'll be going over, including the Retirement Analyzer software program. We'll also be going over some software programs available on our website. So really good information that you would pick up at this meeting. So if you have interest in attending one of our future Life Annuity Academies, I know it is all expense paid. We take care of your travel expenses. We take care of your lodging, your food, everything is taken care of. We typically have this over a 2.5-day period. We typically come in on like a Wednesday afternoon. The meeting itself would start on Wednesday evening. It would go all day on Thursday, and then it would go up until about noon on Friday. And then you'd be transported back to the hotel or back to the airport, or you could go ahead and if you're driving, obviously you can drive back home at that point. We take care of your mileage for driving. So really nice program we put together. I know we've done probably about 50 of these over the last number of years. Really seen a nice balance of new business coming in based on the prior attendees. I know that majority of our larger producers have attended our Life and Annuity Academy at least once, and we really go over some great information on that. So if that's something you have some interest in attending. We'll probably have some dates released here in the near future. We're looking at probably doing the next one here in Omaha. We're going to have about 30 to 35 seats available for the agents that do attend. And we really have a really nice agenda we put together for these. And we always have lots of positive input at the end of these meetings. And we always see a nice boost in production from the attendees. So definitely worth your time to spend a couple days with us, get out of the field, pick out some additional sales ideas, and really expand on your business. So if that's something of interest in, just check off yes. Be glad to contact you, get things going on that end, and move forward from there. We do have our next trip announced. It's going to be to the Ritz-Carlton in Naples, Florida. Qualification does run through June of 2019. I know we've got plenty of time to qualify. It takes about 3 million points to qualify for the trip. All of your business UIMs counts, be it life insurance, annuities, long-term care, Medicare supplement, everything counts towards our trip. So you could be writing all kinds of different business, or you could be concentrating on one side of the business, but everything would count towards the trip. So looking forward to having as many of you on there as possible. Again, today we're joined by Dave Pimper. Dave has been in the business for about 30 plus years, I believe. And Dave's done a great job with us. He does both securities and the insurance side, so he covers both sides of the business. He's got some great ideas, for doing seminars, pursuing clients, getting involved in some different sides of the business. So Dave does a great job on both ends. He also does a great job on coaching. I know he's coached dozens of agents for us based on, getting them to the next level of production and helping them attain their goals or looking at year in and year out. So Dave does a great job on that end. So welcome aboard this morning, Dave. Glad you could join us today.
Thank you. No problem. I enjoy being here.
Good. Do you want me to control the slides on my end, Dave, or want me to transfer to you?
I actually have got it up here. Give it over to me and see if I can move, okay?
Okay, let me go ahead and change presenters here real quick.
Yeah, okay, and we'll see if we can get going. Hey, good morning, everybody. I appreciate everyone being on the line with us today for our webinar, and we're going to go in, see if I can show this.
Okay.
Okay, for some reason.
It's up on my screen now. Yours is.
Mine is, okay. I'm looking here, trying to get my screen, show screen.
Okay, because right now I just see your main screen there, not the slide presentation.
I don't see the slide presentation either.
That makes two of us.
Okay, I'm trying to.
Otherwise, I can switch it back to me and I can control it.
Yeah, okay. I think you're going to control it today. I apologize.
Right. Let me go back and change it back to me here.
Okay. All right, we're going to talk about 401k IRA rollovers, and you know what's interesting about it? Certainly, knowledge is power, and we know that in our industry. I've been doing this for a long time. I got originally in the financial industry in 1981. I was with insurance for 3 years, and then I went into investments. But I still do show really not as much conventional insurance, but I certainly have an anchor of fixed index annuity and fixed annuities that I work with that are guaranteed. And what happens is that the 401k marketplace, and I'm also including the 403b, the 457 government. It's a big player, big player. And so what happens is that when you're looking at this marketplace, working with the pre-retired and retired, the biggest way to not become successful is to not see people. You pretty much got to get belly to belly with people, like in the old days. And there's different marketing ways to do that. You can cold call on businesses. You can go in and network. You can ask for referrals. But I'll tell you, by injecting a program that will inject new blood, new prospects into the pipeline is key, is absolutely key. So seminar marketing, is it different than it was 30 years ago? Yes, it is. I mean, I know that because I've done just shy of 500 public seminars since the early to mid 80s. And what happens is that there's no doubt with the invention of PowerPoint, which came about in the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s. I mean, before that, either you had to extemporaneously slides or acetates. Remember the overhead acetates? That's we use slides. It was a little higher end. Yeah, but now with PowerPoint, every Tom, Dick, and Harry can go in and give a workshop. It's very easy to do, but I think it's important to have a workshop that is compliance-minded, it's balanced, and it gives general information to the attendee, and that's what ours do. So I'll kind of run through the numbers here in a sec. If you have any questions, we have lots of folks that are interested in the subject and also with seminar marketing, but certainly type it on in, and then Matt, you can go in and because you can view those.
Correct.
And we can certainly go over those. And I will, before the day's over too, in the next 20, 25 minutes, I will go over the specific numbers that we are looking at, within the kind of workshop of what the costs are, of how many we mail, what we can expect. And what we expect, I mean, if it can certainly be a higher amount, it can be a lower amount, but I will give you the actual numbers that I've gotten here in the past many workshops that I've done, in particularly on this workshop, which I probably have given 401ks maybe 30, 40 times. Okay, so we can go ahead and we can go to the next slide. Mm-hmm. Now, what a lot of people think, a lot of advisors, a lot of agents think that they probably have a better understanding of the 401k IRA rollover material than maybe what they actually do. Okay, so let's go through a little bit of a quiz here and be honest with yourself. Let's go in and kind of find out on what you really know. So let's bring up that first set of information, and I'm going to read it, and we won't give you the answer. You write down of what your answer is. So it says, how much do you really know? So let's say that you make your initial Roth IRA contribution for the tax year of 2015. You make it on April the 15th of 16, which you can wait until the filing date of next year. How many years do you have to wait to withdraw all of your money tax-free on a Roth, tax-free Roth? So where the earnings growth is 100% tax-free. So how long do you have to wait? Most people are going to say 5 years. There's a 5-year waiting rule. So go ahead, click on the answer here, Matt.
You got it.
So it's 3 years, 8.5 months. So how is that? Well, no matter when you put your money in for that year's Roth, whether it's January 1 or whether it's April the 15th, the 5-year period always reverts back to 1/1 of the year you're putting it in for. So if you put it in on 1/1, you only have 3 years 8.5 months, because it always reverts back to 1/1, even though you're out that time period. Okay, second one. What type of trust do you have to establish for your IRA when you inherit? Your intent is to make sure the designated human beneficiaries within that trust are able to stretch out the tax deferral for their lifetimes, meaning this is an inherited IRA. What type of trust do you have to set up? Okay, let's take a look at the answer. It's a see-through trust, or called a look-through trust. You're seeing through, or you're looking through for the heartbeat, for that human heartbeat. It's a type of a conduit trust. If it's not a conduit trust, you know what? You can't stretch it out, which is a negative. Next one. What type of trust do you have to establish for your non-IRA with an annuity when your intent is to make sure your designated human beneficiaries within that trust are able to stretch out the tax deferral? And this is a trick question.
It's very tricky, Dave.
It is, I know. Okay, can't be accomplished. Only a 5-year tax rule, meaning they're taking their money out over a 5-year time period. It's a 5-year payout. You're paying taxes within that 5 years. Yeah. So you can't accomplish this if it's not in an IRA. And the last one, if we have a last one, yeah. What does the designation of Per Stirpes mean pertaining to beneficiaries? Per Stirpes. There's two types of designations. There's per capita and Per Stirpes. Per capita means per head, and Per Stirpes means by the root or by the bloodline, by the branch. So let's say it's my wife and I, Amy and I. We got 2 kids. Let's say my son passes. I don't change the beneficiaries. With Per Stirpes, that money will go down to his children, not the wife, but his children. Per capita, my daughter Liz would get it all.
She's a lucky woman.
Most people like. Yeah, she is a lucky woman. She'd probably be for it, yeah.
That's all for that.
But but we like Per Stirpes much more than per capita, per head. Okay, let's go to the next slide. So here's the actual slides. What you're going to see on this is that this is a professional presentation. It's general. It's kind of 3,000 foot looking down. It's balanced with the negative and positive. And I'll give you an idea. So what I would talk, my language here is, well, let's talk about 401ks and about the rollover options you have. Now, folks, when I talk about 401ks, I'm also talking about its twin sibling, the 403B, and the twin or triplet, also at 457 government deferred comp plans. They're very, very similar. Most people will have 401ks or 403Bs. So when I say 401ks, I mean the whole gamut of those retirement plans. So what happens when you are no longer working for that entity, no longer working for that company? Well, let's say you have, I'm just making this up, let's say you have a couple $100,000 in your 401k or your 403B or 457. Well, you can do nothing. You most likely can leave it there and they'll accept it, okay? Even though you're not working there. You can roll it over to a new company retirement plan as long as they allow it, and most do now. It's portable. You could take a lump sum distribution. Now, that usually is not a good idea. Now, folks, let me bring this up. How many people do you think cash out of their plan in the United States? What percentage? It's hard to believe that over 50%, it's like 53%, cash out of their plan. But there is a reason to take a lump sum, and I'll go through that. You could convert to a Roth IRA, or which is most common, you roll it over or you transfer it into a traditional IRA. Now, time out for all the agents and advisors online. This is, of course, how we get compensated. We show them a good fixed indexed annuity. We show them a good fee-based money management account if you're 65 or 66 licensed. Yeah. And of course, it has to be in the best interest of the client, but the guarantees within 401ks, 403bs, and 457 are usually pretty poor. They can't compete what we can do on the outside with guarantees. So it really sets it up pretty nicely. So then what I do, and I'm not going to go through every slide like this, but then we start talking about, well, you can do nothing. You know, so you can leave it where it is. So if it's under 5,000, your current plan may force you to take it out, but most people will have way over 5,000. But if you do nothing, you can leave it with that plan. Okay? Now, are there positives of that? Yeah. So why leave your investment in that current 401k plan? Well, first of all, is that let's say that in a 401k, an ERISA-based plan, if normally you've got to wait till you're 59.5 to not have a 10% penalty. You can't take it earlier. But with the 401k, if you're 55 to 59.5 and you're at the 401k and you're not employed there any longer, you don't have a 10% penalty. It's called the 55-year-old rule. It's penalty-free from the 10%. So pay taxes on it, but no penalty. In a rollover IRA, you would. So I just had a client, it's been a few months ago, but they wanted to buy a car, and they were 56 years old, and we left about $40,000 in the 401k and rolled all the rest over into an IRA because they didn't have a 10% penalty. They took that money out. So that's a plus. Also, through ERISA, creditor protection, through lawsuits, through liens, normally is safer for protection than an IRA. The state of Nebraska doesn't make much difference. And then more general things, maybe you're just familiar, and I'm just hypothetically saying that Fidelity or Vanguard or American Funds, you're used to them. You're comfortable with them. You know what they've done in the past. Yeah, you're just comfortable. Now, 401ks, they do have some hidden fees that you may not know about, that you're kind of layers of fees, but they may have because of the having 500 million or $1 billion if you're in a big General Electric or Kellogg's or IBM. Yeah, maybe the fees are lower and you're very fee conscious. There's still fees, but they might be lower, or they might be more. Because we gotta do a fee analysis for you. And I'm not saying this is a good reason to leave it there, folks, but it's just easier. I mean, a lot of people are kind of lazy. They don't want to mess with it. They don't want to go through a decision-making process on their money again. So it's just an easier choice to leave it there. No decision has to be made now. So timeout. So I'm talking to advisors here with that on the webinar. That's kind of how I kind of give the goods and the bads. Not on every single topic, but I like it to be balanced. So what does that do to the attendee in the crowd? You're not just one-sided. It isn't like it's just a first date and you're only seeing the positives of the person. You're going in and showing the both things. I mean, you know, the 10%, why would you leave money on in there? So you don't have to, if you're going to take it out, there's no 10% penalty. Well, how do I make money from that? I don't. I give up money. But it's in the best interest of the client, best interest of the prospect. I think people appreciate that. They see through that and see that you're a balanced and a real professional. Now, you can roll your retirement funds to a new retirement plan. So as long as they'll allow it, you could go in and you could roll it from one 401k, you work for another plan with the 401k. Yeah. And you basically have all the same things. I've added a couple others that could be in the first one too, but loan provisions. If you want to get a loan from an IRA or go to your bank or put up for collateral, cannot do it. It isn't available. A 401k, if it's in the blueprint, kind of in the paperwork of the 401k, yes, you can. Up to 50% you can loan. So if you have $200,000, you can get a loan of up to $100,000. Now, do I favor that? No, I don't. You are paying your interest to yourself, but I don't think that plan was made to do that. But if it's important to you, yeah, you might want to keep the money in the 401k. Service and guidance is a big deal. Where do you get your service and guidance in your own 401k? I know there's companies like Fidelity that have people that you can pay a fee to help you manage that plan, but they've not met you in person. They normally don't know all of your other assets and kind of your children's situation, kind of the mental situation. That's what a face-to-face financial advisor like myself we do. I mean, we're like an attorney or a CPA that you give confidential information to, so we can give you the very best information to make decisions on your financial plan and investments. Okay, so that service and guidance, it's big, and there's a cost to doing business, whether there's a commission or a holding period with surrender charges, or you're paying from a fee-based standpoint. What happens is that Matt, could you just real quickly, I'm going to take a break for about just 10 seconds, but could you just talk a little bit about how much is retirement plans like this of a business for IAMS, with their fixed indexed annuity? Just go through that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big chunk of our business. I mean, you take a look at the amount of qualified money that comes to our office, I'd say it's closer to 60%. Is the amount of money that comes to our office, and we're doing $35 million a month in production. So, I mean, you're looking at about $20 million plus that comes out of the qualified side. So it's a huge percentage of our business is that side of it. So I think it's definitely worthwhile to maximize your meetings with clients and getting in front of them as many as you can that are on this qualified side, because you're going to really expand your business quickly by getting involved in that side of the market.
Matt?
Yep. Can you hear me?
Yep. Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah. Okay. Hold on just for a quick second. Yeah. Yeah. So what happens is it's a big part of IAMS's business.
Right.
Yeah. So
exactly.
So what happens?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so what happens is, you can go in, and I just talked to a guy, and I know IAMS does it. They've looked at it, and we haven't done the marketing on it. But it's the college savings plan, and you're working with people that are in their 40s and early 50s, and the kids are going to, or maybe even the late 30s, and they're going to college. But where's the real money? The money is in 401ks, 403bs, 457s, IRAs, Roth IRAs, and that pre-retired, they're making changes in their life. Mm-hmm. And so that's why we really try to go in and we try to work around that specific area. And it just really, really, I mean, that's where the bigger money is, no doubt about it. Okay, let's go to the next slide.
Yeah, it's amazing that, when people get close to retirement, you take a look at their assets, 90+% of their assets are in their 401k. I mean, they're in this qualified account.
Yep.
And they have very little assets outside of that. So
yeah, I had a client in 2006, worked for Hormel here in town,
right?
Which is, we have the biggest spam plant in Fremont. That's our claim to fame, and we're actually going to have a big chicken plant with Costco here in the next year. So
there you go.
We kind of like that slaughtering house idea, yeah.
You do.
But he came in. This is back in 2006. So think about it. He had $1.1 million in his 401k. He still owed on his house. He still owed on his car, and he had about $5,000 in savings, and he virtually had no other money.
That's crazy.
Wild.
Yeah,
that's right. So, and I'm going to do this now pretty quickly, but take a lump sum distribution. So here's what happens: if you take money out of a 401k, say you have $100,000 in there and you take it out, the government's going to withhold $20,000, 20% of it. They're going to withhold it because they're not trusting that you're going to pay the taxes on it.
Right.
So what happens is, when you take it out, and you're just going to pay taxes on it, but is there a reason to do it? And it's called Net Unrealized Appreciation, NUA. In fact, we do, may not be every year, but it might be every 2 or 3 years, we'll do a Net Unrealized Appreciation. Now, this has to do with stock, so you could give general advice on this if you're an advisor. You can't follow through on and sell the stock unless you're Series 7 licensed. But if you go to the next slide, what is Net Unrealized Appreciation? So here's what it is. Let's say that you work for IBM. The client comes in and he's got $400,000 in his 401k. That $400,000, $100,000 of it is IBM stock. It's the company publicly traded stock. Has to be publicly traded. Has to be the company stock.
Mm-hmm.
300,000 are in mutual funds. 100,000 are in publicly traded stock. Well, he's been putting that IBM stock in there, buying shares of it every paycheck, twice a month for the last 30 years. The cost basis on that stock is 25,000. The actual value today is 100. There's $75,000 worth of appreciated gain. Let's say you roll all that over into an IRA. Well, when that money comes out, it's 100% ordinary income taxed as, isn't it? Yes. Yes. But if you go in and take that 100,000 of the appreciated stock and you move it into just a personal account, and the rest of your money gets moved out by the end of the year on the say the mutual fund side, you can go in, defer that 300,000 with mutual funds just like you would anyway. Say it goes out and goes into fixed index or whatever it goes into, but the 100,000 goes over to a personal account. All of a sudden, you're only taxed on the cost basis. So you're only taxed on 25 grand of it, of ordinary income tax. The other 75,000, whenever you're going to take that out, is taxed as a long-term capital gain. That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
You change ordinary income tax to long-term capital gain. Now, if it's not highly appreciated stock, it doesn't work. If you're not paying your share of income taxes, it's not going to work. If the account isn't of a fairly good size, it's not going to work. But boy, when it works, it fits like Cinderella's shoe. Fits perfectly. That's called net unrealized appreciation, and that is a reason to take at least a portion, which is here the appreciated stock. It's a reason to put it into a personal account and not roll it all over to an IRA. Now, do you lose control of that 100,000? Yeah. Well, and some advisors don't want to lose control because that's how they make their commission or their fee, their revenue that they generate. But is it what's in the best interest of the client? What's in the best interest of the prospective client? It's to do it, to show them that NUA is available. And I'll tell you right now, most advisors don't even know this is available. Mm-hmm. So those are the kind of things that you're going in through the workshop and you're saying, hey, well, no one knows about this. I mean, very few people do. CPAs do, lawyers do, a few advisors do, but the average guy out there doesn't know anything about that or gal. We have slides like this that experience is a good school, but the fees are high. And I say, now, what this means is that, hold on real quick.
Sure.
What this means is that if you make a mistake, you should work with a professional like myself. If you make a mistake in this retirement rollover transfer marketplace, it can be costly. Listen, when you're talking about RMDs, retired minimum distributions, which we talk about, what happens is if you're 1 day late on that, you take it out January 1 instead of December the 31st. Yeah, if you took out 10 grand, 5 grand penalty. One of the stiffest penalties there is in this kind of business. How about you go in and I mean, there's just so many things that you've got to do correctly. If you go 61 days instead of 60 days to roll over indirect money, yeah, all of it's taxable.
Mm-hmm.
How about on an IRA? You've got 5 IRAs, and you've already indirectly rolled over, meaning you used the 60 days, you took cash, your name, rolled it over. Say it was 100 grand, and you took out 5 grand and did the very same thing within 365 days from another account. All of it, 105,000 is taxable. I mean, there's some huge mistakes that come up, and that's why most people, they want to talk to a professional. And fortunately, I have, and then I say, which you would say up there if you're taught, I have this expertise. So let's do this, Matt. We'll kind of go through pretty quick, but we're going to talk about a Roth. See, that 5-year holding rule might be as little as, remember, 3 years, 8.5 months, because it all reverts to the once. After, there's no RMDs,
Mm-hmm.
and there's no spousal RMDs. So we go to the next slide. I mean, I'm just trying to give you a feeling of what the slides look like here.
Right.
Roth conversions. Well, everybody likes to turn tax deferred into tax free. But what's the kick? You got to go on in and pay taxes on the amount that you take on out. So if you got 100 grand and let's say that you want to go in and convert that to a traditional IRA to a tax-free IRA, that $100,000 first you take it on out, and then you've got to come up with the taxation on it. Let's say it's state and federal. Let's say it's 25%. You got to come up with $25,000. Otherwise, your Roth is that much smaller, and it takes so long to make it back. So that's got to come out of. I mean, and that's hard to do. So what happens is a lot of people will do partial withdrawals. They have $100,000. They're going to take $100,000 out a year for 10 years. On $100,000, it's only $2,500, not $25,000. It's much more doable. And now all of a sudden you turned your account from a tax deferred to a tax free. Pretty cool. Yeah. Next slide. Now, do I go through a little more with this? Yes, I do. Now on the slides, I have a big no through this on my actual slides, but there's no recharacterization anymore. You can't go back in and redo it by October the 15th of next year. So it used to be called the OOPS rule. Recharacterizations of Roth conversions are done. They did away with the Trump tax reform, Jobs Cuts and Jobs Act and Tax Cuts Act. Yeah. So this is no longer available. Next slide. So moving money, there's two ways to do it. There's indirectly, where you actually take the money's made out to you. You got 60 days to roll it, or which you want to try to do every single time you're moving IRA money or 401k money. You want to directly roll it over or directly transfer it from custodian to custodian or trustee to trustee.
Right.
So what we're going to do here,
I just launched a poll too, quick, Dave, before we get too far into this. If you want to get some additional information on the 401k and the 403b system that Dave has, and I know he does a great job. He's got a whole package he's put together. Is it a 5 or 10 session system there, Dave? What's this one? What are we looking at?
It's 5 sessions, 45 minutes each for 5 weeks.
Okay, excellent. I know
and
that
then they got about.
We give a scholarship.
About 25 or 30 attachments. You bet. We give a scholarship. Right. Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, we give a scholarship, based on being an agent through IAMS. We help with your cost on these training sessions, and we cover a huge portion of the cost itself. So you're basically getting this for nickels on the dollar, based on what you get out of these meetings with Dave. As Dave mentioned, it's a 5-week session. You're going to do 45 minutes a week and go over, the whole process. And Dave's got a great system he's put together. I know Dave's done a ton of business based on this presentation, and it could really help you out in the field and really expand your business. You're going to kind of go over more of that information, Dave?
Yeah. In fact, what happens isn't just myself. I mean, I show the two main seminar systems. I got 5 available, but we do Social Security claiming and the 401k rollover, and I put this together. It's got a FINRA review on it, which is kind of nice for anyone who's licensed, securities licensed. But it isn't just myself. I've got other reps that have used this with some very good success. And what happens is that it's about an hour presentation. This is a dinner seminar, but what happens is the coaching on this for the seminar. I get paid by coaching. I don't get paid by the override. I don't get paid by your hierarchy, and it's $750 for the coaching. IAMS comes in and pays $555 of that. So your cost is $195. And this is really two-pronged. Our goal is to write more business, to get more prospects, to get brand new people into our client pipeline. But knowing a lot more about this subject is going to help you financially just by being more knowledgeable, because knowledge is power. So the coaching, once you coach with me, you can use me as long as you're writing business through IAMS. Yeah, you can go in and you can use me for a source, whether it's a presentation or whether it's just questions for anything down the road, whether it be 401k IRA rollover or anything else. So if you mark yes on this, then what will happen is Lynn is going to, from our office, one of my 2 administrators will call, Lynn Feldhauser, will call you, line up a good time for 30 minutes for you and for me to get on the phone and just talk a little bit about your marketing, what you're doing, a little bit about where your production's been, where it is now, and where you'd like it to go, and if seminar marketing could play a role in bringing more prospects to you, which in turn hopefully is bringing more clients and more money under management for you. So it doesn't make a difference whether it's fixed indexed or fixed or whether it's securities. I mean, what happens is that we're trying to do there are some people that don't want any guarantee. There's some people that want everything guaranteed. But the big thing is getting in front of that people and uncovering the asset. So if you mark yes, then Lynn will call you here within the next couple of days. And please take the message. If you mark yes, answer the phone or call us back when we call, because we certainly have a busy office here, and I know hopefully you're successful and you want to be more successful. So you have a busy office also. But give us, but if you mark yes, we'll give you a call within today or tomorrow, so Wednesday or Thursday, and we will go in and see if we can give you some neat ideas that you can put into action about 401k seminar marketing.
Yeah,
so we're going to close this down. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, I think it's definitely worth your time to take a look at it. You know, the half an hour with Dave up front, it's a free deal. He'll go over the whole process with you and just see if it fits into what you're looking for. So it's really nothing out of your pocket, just half an hour of your time, and really a good combination for you in the field itself. So if you want to mark off, you guys can leave this open for another 30 seconds or so, and I'll close this up, and then we'll finish up the meeting here this morning.
Yeah, one of the things, and it's a question that came up, and while you're filling this out, there's a cost to seminar marketing, and the biggest cost is getting people there. No doubt. We still do a hard mailing. There's a lot of digital things, and we can also top it off with some inexpensive digital. But I'll tell you what, hard a mailer, and this is just a folded 8.5 by 11 sheets, full color, card stock, and the newer one actually is an 8.5 by 17. It's a big triple fold. Looks like you're getting it from a college. They call you the instructor. And what happens is, you're going to mail out 6,000 of those. So there's a little over $3,000 of a cost of the mailing. And that's not cheap. I always say you could buy a used car, maybe an inexpensive used car, might be a little bit of a beater, but you could buy a used car with $3,000. So, and then my cost is $195. And what happens is a dinner workshop. So you're going to have anywhere from $700 to maybe $1,000 worth of cost from the meal. So you're going to have over $4,000 wrapped up into the system. All the PowerPoint, everything that's provided, all the attachments are provided. But having someone walk you through, like myself, Dave Pemper, and kind of walking you through, making sure you stay. I don't mind. People can get on the rumble strips or even the shoulder on the highway, but so many people get in the ditch and they crash and burn. I will prevent that from happening. Okay, we try to keep you on a success track. So the reason most people are not successful in workshops, they don't have someone coaching them, helping them, leading them, keeping them out of the trouble. And you need a track that works. And this has been successful with the folks who we've worked with, many through the years. Absolutely. Okay, so indirect rollovers. That's where the check's made payable to you. And just know that if it comes from a 401k, they're going to take 20% out. There's only one rollover per year for all of your IRAs. If you have two in 365 days, all of it's taxed. How tough is that? Next slide. And then we talk about, this is where it goes from trustee to trustee or a direct rollover. No 20%, can do as many as you want, no 60-day rule. Yeah, you never touch the money. Next slide. Yeah, so it isn't just 401ks. Of course, you can directly roll over IRAs, Roth IRAs. And why go in and do it? Well, there could be lesser fees. It normally is simpler with having kind of everything with one advisor. There's far fewer rules with IRAs than there is than ERISA, like 401ks. Many more options. You can't buy a fixed index, can you, within a company retirement plan? Okay, so and you're going to continue all the tax deferral. We talk about beneficiary options, and I'm just going through those quickly. You take more time there. I have language for every slide, and the language is good. There was hardly anything was changed when it went to FINRA for the review. But 7 beneficiary options. We talk about leave blank. That means that you die intestate. What happens there? Name your estate or will. It goes through probate. Some things you want to go through probate, like real estate, has a stepped up cost value. But you don't want beneficiary items normally going through probate because it goes direct, like life insurance, like annuities, etc. And life insurance can't be used within a retirement plan, but annuities, in our case, fixed or fixed index especially. Spouse, children, grandchildren, charity, or a beneficiary as a trust. So let's go to the next slide when we look at this. And it would go into the trust then, okay? Yeah, here's another one that says, I've got all the money I'll ever need if I die by 4 o'clock. Don't let that happen to you. The next slide. So we keep a little humor. It's all public information. We talk about stretching beneficiaries again through inherited. We have, and a lot of those have several slides that go with it. I'm just kind of giving you a feeling of it. Go to the next slide. So it has to be properly identified, and we just came across an inherited IRA that I didn't think it didn't have the death date in it. It didn't have the deceased date, and so we added that to it. That could cause problems of actually inheriting that IRA. So let's say that senior dies in junior, John Doe Jr. So it would be titled John Doe Senior. He had an IRA. He's deceased now. The date of when he passed, for the benefit of Junior. Now, there's different ways to set it up, but that you normally need to say of who senior is, who the name of senior, the name of junior for the benefit of, and when they died. It's an IRA. That's what you have to have, in the amount of it. So it has to. It's pretty specific, and you have to start taking RMDs, required minimum distributions, by the end of the next year, December 31st of the year after the death. So if the death is in early January, you almost got 2 years to take the first RMD. If it's at the end of the year, you got about a year to take the RMD. Okay, next slide. Remember we talked about per capita, per Stirpes? We go through it in depth here. And then transfer on death, a TOD. If you don't set up your personal accounts of a transfer on death, Matt, do most insurance companies accept transfer on deaths now on a personal account? Or you know what? It doesn't have, because it has a beneficiary course. That's
yeah, of
right.
course. Yep.
So there's not going to be any transfer of death. I'm sorry. Yeah.
No.
Right. I'm thinking of a brokerage account, a savings account, and so forth. There, you don't have specific beneficiaries. So transfer of death is really a beneficiary on a non-qualified account.
Correct.
We talk about RMDs. We talk a little bit at the very end on a qualified longevity annuity contract, which would go into the next slide. Of course, we don't have all the slides here. Arthur Godfrey, radio personality way back in the early days. He says, I'm proud to be paying taxes in the U.S. The only thing I could be just as proud of for half the money. And a lot of people do overpay. Yeah.
Yes, they
do. They do overpay. Yeah. Next slide. This is key. This will get, I'm telling you, this is a money slide right here. It's a money slide for the client. It's a money slide for compensation for the agent or the advisor. In-service non-hardship withdrawal plan. If you're not working with those, you're leaving money on the table. The person is over the age of 59. He is still working for the company. You want to ask, he won't know. He could ask his one of the people that are under investment aside, or one of the maybe human resource director. But the easiest thing is to get a statement and just call the custodian. Call Fidelity. Call Vanguard. Call American Funds. Call Lincoln Financial. Call Principal Group. Whoever has that 401k, but call them and ask if they have an in-service non-hardship withdrawal plan, or they have where they can get to their money after the age of 59 and a half, but before they retire. So they're 62, they're still working there. I do a lot of those every single year. I ask every single person. They say, well, I've got 500,000 in my 401k and they're 61. If they're before 59 and a half, and most likely is not going to be available. But most plans now have it available, and you can go in and take a portion or even all of that money and roll it over into an IRA. Wow, it's a huge marketplace. So let me just read this. A withdrawal made from a qualified plan, i.e. 401k, etc., account before the holder experiences a triggering event. So they haven't died, they haven't quit, they haven't been fired, they haven't retired. They're still working there. A trigger event reaching a certain age is 59 and a half. We're leaving. That's how old you have to be to take an in-service non-hardship withdrawal normally. Pretty cool. Most people don't even know it's available. So we really go into depth on this. And I'll say, if you're over 59 and a half and you're still working for the company, you most likely, maybe not everyone, but most likely, you could go in and take some of your monies out to complement of what you have in that 401k. So you maybe don't have a great guaranteed rate. Yeah. Well, we got some pretty darn competitive guaranteed rates. Maybe you, and then I go through other things that maybe they don't have. Pretty cool. Okay, next slide. Want to say something there, Matt?
Nope, go ahead.
I heard you heavy breathing.
I'm about ready to pass that over here.
Mostly like 102 degrees today, 102 degrees heat index. It's going to be warm.
It's going to be warm on the golf course.
5 rules to know when working with in-service. We talk about it. Next slide. Now, we're getting towards the end. Some people don't know Social Security claiming. I'll tell you what, if you don't have expertise in Social Security claiming, you should. I teach Social Security claiming. We also do seminars on Social Security claiming. We can certainly talk about that if you marked yes. But see, you want to take the slide out if you don't have information. But here we talk about Social Security claiming, maybe delaying for a bigger benefit. Also, money that's put into deferred accounts like annuities, they don't count towards income on the earnings test or on the taxation test. So there's some neat things with Social Security that everybody in our industry, but they're not. Only about 20% of the people really understand Social Security that are advisors or agents. But take the slide out if you don't know much of it. If you don't, maybe you should talk to me about giving a little training. I would say there's a lot to think about, and this is one kind of thinker here. You go to the next slide, and then I go in and I talk about take out the yellow sheet. This is the consultation sheet. So we get the absolute appointment right there at the workshop. I marked off the next 2 weeks for the appointments from this workshop, and I normally have 2 out of 1 mailing, so Tuesday and Thursday night, and I have dates and times, and they mark it, and that's when we see them. It's pretty, and we pick it all up at the end of the workshop. So you're not calling people back and begging them for an appointment. They're doing it right there, right when they're the most excited, they're the most informed, and they know that they need you the most. Next slide.
Do you usually meet them at your place, Dave, or you go to their place? Does it depend on the client?
Well, because I do a lot of brokerage business, a lot of investments. Most of us have an office,
right? But
I found that the people that I have coached that are, and this is, believe me, IAMS has got some big producers, big multi-million dollar producers. A lot of those agents don't have an office. They go out and see them at their home, and that's fine. Absolutely.
Right.
And I do have my promise to you slide. Can you just click through all of those real quick, would you, Matt? Go ahead. Just do the whole, keep on going. Yeah. So this is, I do those, there you go. I do those one at a time. I say leave your checkbook at home. One thing you're going to get out of here, I want you going and saying, hey, that was worthwhile to see Dave Pepper for that hour. But I'm going to uncover one financial problem or one financial hurdle, and I'm going to tell you of what to do to go in and to remedy that. And then I start asking questions. If you don't know your best rollover options, well, then maybe come in to see me. And I mark a big check mark with my hand then. You know what? Roth conversions, if you haven't looked at it, yeah, there's some cost tax-wise, but boy, if the shoe fits, it's like Cinderella's slipper. It fits great. You might want to mark yes. There's not about complementing Social Security with your 401k. Maybe take monies out of your 401k first. Let your Social Security grow that guaranteed 10%, which it is this year. 8% above the age of 66 or full retirement. 2% for COLA, cost of living adjustment. Where can you get a guaranteed 10% increase in a year's time on your investments? You cannot. Not government guaranteed, you can't. Taking a risk, you might be able to, but not government guaranteed. You might want to mark yes. And so then I just go through the second opinion, sometimes the best opinion. So I get people thinking. Right now, so it's an emotional, they're filling this out. Go to the next slide. So then at the very end here, and then we can take any questions or bad or anything, because I know we're bunking up against the time limit here.
Yep.
But I always, here's how I end it. Just like this, it's emotion. I say, folks, everyone who knows who Big George Foreman is. Yeah, he was an American boxing champ, made a ton of money from boxing. But do you know where he in his lifetime, of course he's still living, do you know where he's made the majority of his money? And then someone will say the George Foreman Grill.
The grill.
And I'll say that's the grill, the George Foreman Grill. I said that's exactly right. I said you can Google this because it's factual. The company that uses his name that builds that grill, they paid him $136 million up front to use his name on that grill. Plus he gets endorsements and he gets some royalties, not counting all of that. So here's this is the last slide I have of the night. But unless you've got your name on a grill, you probably need to mark yes and come in and see me. And that's how I end it. And then go back to the slide before real quick. Just back up on that slide, would you, Matt?
Yep.
It's just 400. I've done 475 public workshops. We got 30 attachments through the coaching that we give to you through the 5 coaching sessions. This is an A through Z. But I'll tell you what, having great retirement advisory knowledge is good for you, but it will not make you money. If the smartest people were the best agents and advisors, then every person with a high ACT score, every doctor, every scientist, every smarter than heck guy would be the best agent or advisor, and that's not the case. But knowledge is power. But you got to get in front of a ton of people. Seminars hopefully could get you in front of 10 or more people or couples from a mailing like this. So it's not cheap, but I'll tell you what, the consistency of it and having me help you with it is a pretty good thing. Go to the next slide. I use this in my actual workshop too. I say procrastination is my sin. It brings me constant sorrow. I really shouldn't practice it. Perhaps I'll stop. Don't let this happen to you. Tomorrow never comes, does it, with procrastination? If you heard something today that you thought might be able to help your business, or maybe I need to talk to Dave Pimper and throw some things out, there might be something there. Yeah, let's talk. Hopefully you marked yes, and I'm excited to talk with quite a few of you and see if seminar marketing geared around 401ks could be something that could help your practice.
Appreciate the time this morning, Dave, and I know we have had a lot of interest today on the 401k seminar system, and Dave will be getting a hold of everyone that did mark yes, and his office will be getting a hold of the next couple of days, as he had mentioned. And then I'll be contacting everyone that was on today's webinar and going over, some of the things that we're offering with Dave and through our office here at IAMS. So we'll definitely be getting through everyone that did attend today, so you'll get a call from me and from Dave's office if you marked yes. Anything you want to finish up with, Dave?
Nope. I know time is precious. Time is important. Time is money. I appreciate every advisor being on the webinar today. And I hope you got some good information. I hope I can talk to a lot of you. And I love marketing, and marketing is what brings the clients to me, and then good professional salesmanship is what goes in and builds that relationship. So hopefully I can talk to you and have a real productive rest of the week.
You too, Dave, and appreciate everyone's time this morning. We greatly appreciate spending time with us today, and we'll look forward to doing business with everyone here the next few weeks. Otherwise, everyone have a great summer, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye now.
Okay, thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.